Welcome to Tim's Vinyl Confessions, another episode. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Tim Durling, and here once again with my friend Matt Phillips in Matt's home office. And today, I'm going to get a little heavier than we usually do on TVC. As you can see by my shirt, we are talking about Metallica. Some Metallica vinyl, and a couple other cool things in between. Between the two of us, we don't have a complete Metallica vinyl collection, but we'll hit a lot of the high points and talk about what we do have on this edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions. And since Matt has been kind enough to host this episode, I'm going to let him start.
So actually what we have, the first thing is not even vinyl. This is a special record store day release. It's the original Metallica No Life Til Leather demo cassette. It's a recreation of the cassette that they had. Who was still in the band? It was
it was Ron McGovney on bass, and Lars and James and Dave Mustaine, and it's 7 songs. So that's still the same writing. This is, if you're a Metallica fan, you've at least seen scans of this before. This was the tape that kind of created their reputation as a band and led to them getting signed to Megaforce Records way back. The underground metal tape trading community spread this around so that this was almost as well known as a major label release. So yeah, they recreated it on Record Store Day. Now I missed out, although if eBay comes through for me, I'll have my own copy. I just don't have it with me.
I only found the, I think our local record store, Second Spin, got 1 copy, and I just happened to be in line, and I actually kind of butted in front of a couple of people, and I was like, is anyone claiming this? Because it was just sitting there. And,
yeah.
And then after I picked it up, I was like, oh, that's a cool cassette.
So that leads us into the first Metallica album, which I have, Killa Wall from 1983. This version I have is a UK version on Music for Nations Records. This is what the back cover looks like. It's in awesome shape, and like I said, it's Music for Nations is a British label that's been around for a while. I think this was one of the first releases, judged from the fact that the serial number is MFN7. So, and this has some goodies inside of it too. Elektra Records, of course, later issued this with Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg tacked on. This is the original picture sleeve that came inside of Killa Wall, and these are the lyrics and the credits. And the record itself, is still, even though it's in a paper sleeve, it still comes in a, this is sort of a shaped, I won't even take it out of here, Music for Nations Records.
Wow.
And yeah, this vinyl is in excellent shape. This might actually be one of the more valuable pieces of vinyl I own. I'm not sure what it would come to. This came in it as well. This is an official t-shirt order form. And it's English. You can tell that the amounts are in pounds. It's never been used. So yeah, that's I was happy to come across that version of Killa Wall. The next up is a record we both have, but in different forms. This is the second Metallica album, an all-time classic, Ride the Lightning, 1984. My version is an original Canadian version, which is on Megaforce, but was distributed by a metal label in Canada called Bonsai Records, which you can see along the bottom was ultimately distributed by Polygram. So even before in the States, initially Ride the Lightning was released on Megaforce, and eventually they were picked up by Elektra. They actually had major label distribution a little bit sooner in Canada before they did in the States.
Just some slight variations. I noticed on your cover, it's a light blue.
Yeah, Matt's version is a later issue on Vertigo. It's a UK version, and probably from the reissued sometime in the 90s, and probably close to the same insides. So it's got this some color variations. Mine's white and Matt's yellow, but other than that, it's the same. So there's a photo of the band. Lars with a very ugly mustache. Same pictures otherwise. On the other side, the lyrics are written in calligraphy, and then there's the credits. And this will probably differ as well.
Yellow swapped for white.
Yeah. And this version of Ride the Lightning, on one side it has nothing but this Bonsai Records logo. On the other side it's this side, that side. So all of the song titles are written there. And again, we have this shaped plastic sleeve. Now, those are the only 2 I have like that. His has more of a customized logo with a customized label with the Vertigo logo on it.
It looks like it's never even been played. Very cool.
So that's Ride the Lightning. Next up, most people's favorite Metallica album, Master of Puppets. This is 1986. This came out. This is a Canadian version on Elektra Records. It's actually distributed by Columbia House. This is a Columbia House issue. It's got plastic on it, but it is open on the sides, so we can look inside of it. It's in quite good shape. You don't see a lot of original Metallica vinyl these days, so these are some of my vinyl prized possessions. Picture of the group, some credits, a lot of credits actually. The credits are pretty deep there. On the other side, lyrics to the songs and individual photos of the group. They thank everyone and their dog inside of this album. Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, Rush, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which always amused me because this is before it was a cartoon. This is when it was an underground comic. Yeah. And typical Elektra logo with the red and black, but obviously the classic Metallica logo there. And that's the Canadian version of Master of Puppets. Neither of us have the Garage Days EP or And Justice for All on vinyl. Matt has the Black Album.
You have a UK pressing of the Black Album. This is probably the first Metallica record that I ever picked up. It's very shiny. It's still one of those things that's very hard to see. Even the logo or the snake in the corner is almost impossible to see. I haven't opened this up actually in years. So I have to take one of those.
Familiar if you've got the CD or cassette. These pictures just a lot bigger. And then they pressed. You may have noticed they pressed this onto two records. And as far as what the records look like, this is very thick vinyl.
Super thick, yeah. Cool.
This is another one of those this side, that side. And I believe what you're seeing here is the Vertigo logo. This is, I don't know if you can tell, that is really, really thick vinyl. So,
it's so wild to see just 3 songs on one side.
Yeah, longer song. Yeah, there's 12 songs on here, so they're 3 song sides. I don't know if you can tell, the individual bands are quite long that make up each song. So that's the Black Album. Next up, something I literally just picked up from Second Spin Records in Fredericton. And
literally like a half an hour ago.
Yeah. And my fellow radio personality, Uncle Rob Pinnock, was waited on me. Picked up Metallica's Load. This was their 1996 album, and this is a reissue, a newer reissue on their own label, Blackened Recordings, which is still distributed by Warner Music. I love this album. Some people didn't. It's still one of my favorite Metallica records. I'm not opening it, but there it is, just something to add to our collection. So after Load, neither of us have Reload or Garage Inc. or S&M on vinyl, at least as of yet. The next Metallica album to come out was 2003.
This is Saint Anger from 2003, like Tim mentioned. And this is an album that some fans absolutely despise. A lot of it because of the
production sound. There's no guitar solos on it. The drum sound, the snare drum sounds like a tin can.
What's the last album that Metallica did with Bob Rock?
Yeah, if you've heard of Some Kind of Monster, that was a film. It was originally started out with Bruce Sinofsky and Joe Berenger. That was to document the making of this album. It ended up being almost documenting the demise of Metallica. It was Jason Newsted left, James Hetfield went into rehab and was basically shut himself off from Kirk and Lars, and they hired Phil Toll as a therapist. It's fascinating to watch, and almost even more fascinating is the companion book that came out, This Monster Lives, which Matt has, and I've had the pleasure of reading. Matt was lucky it kind of happened upon this particular vinyl. The reason he was showing you everything that's inside is because it was already opened. So that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I picked it up at $15 at a local record store.
You don't find Metallica vinyl for $15 very often.
So here's your insert with some very strange photos. And then the lyrics with the typed out lyrics and then the handwritten headings at the top.
Now some of these pictures, I could be wrong, I don't even think they appear inside the CD. But maybe they do.
Strange stuff. And then St. Anger on double vinyl.
Yeah, so side A, 3 songs on it. Side B, 3 songs on it. They're long, long songs. Of course, split into 2 vinyl. With the fist from the album cover. And by this time, their logo had changed to sort of a fuzzier print. And by now, they have since reverted to their original logo.
Mm-hmm. So next up, we have Live at Grimey's. Now you'll see this is fairly shiny because I haven't opened it yet. I picked this up, a friend of mine from Chicago in the USA sent this to me. I have it on vinyl and CD. But this is Live at Grimey's. It says on the back, recorded live in the basement at Grimey's in Nashville, Tennessee on June 12th, 2008.
And I think what that Grimey's was, it was either a very small venue, or I tend to think it was a record store. So they went downstairs, basically cranked out a live set and recorded it and pressed it onto vinyl immediately. Mm-hmm. It's quite a collector's item nowadays. I don't actually own it on any form.
Oh, you don't?
Nope.
It's very raw and it's very, it's kind of funny too. So some of the
very off
banter. Yeah. Just something to show you. I have a 45 RPM. It's basically a magazine that I picked up at Chapters about the first 30 years of Metallica. This is when they were doing their anniversary out in San Francisco, and they did.
They had all kinds of special guests like Dave Mustaine and Jason Newsted and Diamond Head. And
yeah, so this covers, it has So What Live and Through the Never Live. And it's just a little 45 that came with the magazine. 30 years strong. And
by this time, Metallica had, I think, taken ownership of their recordings. So this was on their own label, Blackened Records. I could be wrong on the timeline there. Neither of us have Depth Magnetic on vinyl, although we do have the follow-up EP, Beyond Magnetic, which was leftover songs. Quite good. 4 songs, it makes up an EP, but they're long songs, so it's a good, how long would it be of listening? It'd be about half an hour maybe?
Yeah, just over half an hour.
Yeah.
4 songs. And
I picked this vinyl up on Record Store Day 3 years ago in Moncton. So this one was still on Warner Brothers Records, so they hadn't quite broken away yet, but...
Both of ours are sealed.
Yeah, I'm not going to...
Limited edition silver vinyl, and it says it comes with a Metallica sticker.
And the most recent vinyl that both of us have by Metallica is from an album that hasn't even been released yet. This is Metallica, The Lords of Summer. This is a new song they premiered live last year. As you can see, they've gone back to the classic logo. This has an unreleased live version digital download and logo etching on side B. This is a limited Black Friday exclusive, and it's on their own label, Blackened Records. Totally, there's no major label mentioned on the back here, and this is not to be opened. So hopefully, it's going to end up on a proper version on a new Metallica album. It's very much old school Metallica sounding again. And just that's quickly it for the Metallica stuff. I just want to throw in a quick mention for a couple of releases that came out in 2013, and the originator, or one of the main architects of them, has kind of gone into hiding. We don't know what he's doing. Jason Newsted, of course, bassist from Metallica from, after the demise of Cliff Burton, so late '86 all the way up until late 2000. He was the bass player of Metallica through their huge wave of success, and then he did a few things, like he played with Ozzy briefly, and he did the Rockstar Supernova show and album, and then he kind of disappeared from public view. Until 2013, actually I should backtrack, he appeared with the band at one of their anniversary shows. Right. And he has said that the crowd kind of gave him the sort of the boost he needed to get back into metal music, which is exactly what he did. So 2013, Jason put up this EP, and actually Matt should be holding it up. We both have it. This is his version. You can tell it's got Jason's signature on it because he ordered it directly from his website. So this is just called Newsted. The EP is called Metal. I don't know if you can see on the side there, but it's written very, very similar to the Black Album. And at this point, it's just a 3-piece band: bass, drums, guitar, Jason on bass and vocals. Not a bad singer. Kind of sounds like a cross between early James Hetfield and maybe Lemmy from Motorhead. Just 4 songs, just old school metal, not detuned, not Cookie Monster vocals, just it's good. And 2 of the songs on here, Godsnake and Skyscraper, are on this EP only. But eventually, later the same year, Newsted, the band, put out a full-length album called Heavy Metal Music. He wanted to leave no doubt into what sort of musical direction he was doing. By this time they were a 4-piece. They got Mike Mushock, who was in the band Stained. And Soldier Head, King of the Underdogs, again appear on this album, and I believe they're same versions. This is a full-length album, both of which are really, really good. Highly recommended if you like old school Metallica. But then Jason kind of disappeared. I was looking forward to maybe seeing a show by that band, but it didn't end up happening. But anyway, that's our Metallica vinyl episode of Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I would like to send a shout out to everyone in the vinyl community. Feel free to like, share, tell people about Tim's Vinyl Confessions. Would love to hear your comments. And yeah, check us out. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I've just recently joined Twitter, so thank you for watching.